All right, so welcome everyone again to our Computer and Information Technology Information Session. So I'm Kelly Williams. I work at LFCC, but I was a student there as well. So I hope that whatever I bring to you, it's valuable, not only as an employee, but also as an alum. So what I'm going to do first is introduce those that are going to be speaking with you all today. And just since it's being recorded again, if you all could say hi, it'll kind of flash to your face real quick. So I want to start with Dr. Henry Kaufman. He's representing cybersecurity.
I'm just supposed to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. I guess we'll get to me when you want an introduction or not?
Oh, that's good. Just letting them know who you are and that you're
Okay,
here.
I'm head of the cybersecurity program. All right.
Perfect. Thank you, Henry. And next, Dr. Melissa Stang. She's muted.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. And then also Professor Art Lee. He's been with us over 34 years.
Oh, that just means I'm old, but hi, hello, welcome all.
And of course, those are our professors. And finally, introducing DJ. He is our student representative of the night.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with the rest of the session. Today, we're going to go over 3 of our key programs at LFCC for IT. Broadly speaking, they are computer science, cybersecurity, and information systems technology. Again, the session's being recorded just so that you can view this session later if you missed anything, or if anybody missed it before, they can take some notes and kind of listen to the questions that you have along the way. So my job today, while the 3 are speaking and while DJ is speaking, is just to kind of monitor the chat while you all are here so that you can have your questions answered at the end. So feel free again to write anything in the chat as it comes up. We'll definitely address it. And also in addition to that, we will be answering questions with audio if you want to at the end as well. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen so that Art can begin his presentation. Give me just a minute, guys, and we will get started. Art, Henry, or Melissa, can you guys see the screen from here?
Yes, I can see it, yeah.
Awesome. I will mute myself and you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, well, again, welcome. This is Art Lee. I am the program lead for Information Systems Technology. And as you can see on the screen, we're going to be looking at 3 different programs, but those 3 programs are all, just by the very nature of what they are all connected to some degree. So the 3 programs, Information Systems Technology, which I will speak specifically about in a moment, cybersecurity, Dr. Kaufman will address, and then computer science, Dr. Stang will address. If we can go to the next slide. That is just some pictures of us, again, that you will hear from tonight. Again, myself, Art Lee, Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Stang. So if we move on to the next slide. What you, in essence, have in terms of options at Lord Fairfax Community College regarding computer technology are different degrees and also different career study certificates. And before I forget to say it, let me make sure that we make a distinction between a career study certificate and what's commonly referred to as industry certifications. They are not the same. Industry certifications are just that. They are very vendor, perhaps hardware or software specific, where the career study certificates that we offer here at Lord Fairfax are a group of courses much shorter than a degree, but can complement a degree, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. So back to the degrees, as you can see on the screen, there are 3 different degrees. Again, Information System Technology, cybersecurity, and computer science. And you see links to a website or web pages for each of those specific programs here at Lord Fairfax. So once we're done, if you haven't visited those sites, I would suggest to do so. That will give you a lot more information and some details regarding those 3 programs specifically. We can move on. Okay, so again, in terms of what can you walk away with in terms of a credential, in terms of the programs that we have to offer. The IST degree, or sometimes simply called IT degree, would be an Associate of Applied Science in Information System Technology. That would be the name of the degree program that you would be in if you enrolled and completed that program. Then the cybersecurity degree is an associate of applied science in cybersecurity. And then the computer science is an associate of science with a computer science specialization. And I'll let Dr. Stang talk more about that momentarily. In all of those programs, that is the IST, the cybersecurity, and the computer science programs, there are career study certificates that allow students to focus on specific specializations, if you will, within those various fields. In many cases, and specifically in the IST degree, those career study certificates can serve as supplements, if you will, or as a part of the degree themselves. So in other words, you could get an IST degree, but you could also earn one or more, there's really no limits to how many you could earn, career study certificates, which would give you two credentials, 3, 4, perhaps credentials, in that you would have an IST degree, but you would also have a career study certificate in a specific area that would tell a potential employer that, hey, I've got this general IST degree, but I also have a certain set of courses that are beyond just the introductory level and are more of an advanced or more specialized area. I think we can go to the next slide. Okay. This really is a placeholder for me to simply remind you or suggest that if you would like to see the details of these pathways, kind of a side-by-side document. I won't bring it up now, but I think Kelly was going to try to put those links into the chat. If not, if you would email me, and before we're done, you'll have my email address. I can send you these documents, which you could then look at your leisure. They're just PDF files that you should easily be able to open. So there's actually 3 of them. I have 2 of them on the screen right here. But there are, these are just some more details that are a little bit too detailed to view on the screen right now, but they're documents that you might find useful. So again, just if you want to send me an email at some point in time, I'll be glad to share those with you.
Art, I just shared your email in the chat, so everybody should have that if they want to reach out to you.
Fantastic, perfect. And the next slide, Kelly, is again that not so great picture of me, because even though I have talked a little bit about the IT program already, I'm going to talk a little more specifically as we move to the next slide. So one of the things that you should be aware of, and if you're a brand new student to Lord Fairfax, then you may not be taking classes yet, or maybe you are a current student and you're just getting into the IST or one of the other computer-related programs. There is an organization in Canvas. And again, if you're already a student, you're familiar with Canvas. If you're a high school student, you may be using Canvas at your high schools. I think some schools are still using Blackboard as well, but it's a learning management system that allows you to interact with your courses online and with your professors. We have a special organization that I tend to maintain that allows you, by virtue of accessing that organization, gives you lots of information about the programs in general. And one of the things, or probably the one item that most students tell me is the most valuable in that organization, is a list of jobs, both part-time, full-time, employment opportunities, also internships. So as we learn as a collective group, that is Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Stang, and myself, as we learn of opportunities for students, we post them in this Canvas organization. This organization also allows us to post new courses or changes to curriculum because as you might know, as you might imagine, as soon as something is produced or published, whether it be online or in physical copy form, it might change. And the very nature of technology, it does change rather quickly. So bottom line, you see my email address there. Kelly has already provided to you in the chat as well. But if you send me an email, I can give you access to the Canvas organization if you are a student. Or if you're just becoming a student this summer or this fall, you can also let me know, and you probably will hear about it through your other classes. And there's one class in specifically I'll mention here in a moment where you will also have access to that organization. So again, just shoot me an email and I can help you with that. Next slide there, Kelly. So if you are interested specifically in the IST degree, where you should start is any one of these courses you see on the screen would be a good starting point. These are our so-called foundational courses. Web page design, database, principles of information systems, PC hardware and troubleshooting, telecommunications introduction, software design, and then also an SDV 101 course, which I'll talk more about in a moment. But those courses that you see listed are courses that you could take without any prerequisites. You can take them, as first-time students in your first semester, one or a combination of those courses. We typically offer those and as much as we can year-round, certainly fall, spring, but also occasionally in the summer, you'll see some of these courses. For example, I know ITP 100, ITN 100, and ITE 120. I know those courses are offered this summer as well, as is SDV 101. So our thinking with these courses is that regardless of what specialization you may eventually move into, you want a strong foundation in all of these topics. So that's the purpose of these courses. I will mention that, and Dr. Kaufman will talk more about this perhaps in a few moments, but if you are unsure, and you're let's say you're starting in the IT degree, but you're really not sure if you're going to maybe move to cybersecurity or computer science. Well, specifically relative to the ITN 107 course, the ITE 221 is a course that you could take instead of 107 if you are, and you would need to do that if you are eventually going to go for the cybersecurity degree. So I know that may be a little bit confusing. We can talk more about that later if you have questions about it, but just kind of a heads up that there is a couple of options there depending on where you think you may be going. Let me just say one quick thing about SDV 101. That is a course that you should take as early as possible, preferably in your first semester. It is offered in the summer, fall, and spring semesters, every semester. It's always an online course. I know a lot of courses that are moving to online, but due to the pandemic that we're involved in. But the SDV 101 is an 8-week online course, 1-credit course, and it's designed, just as the name implies, is to give you an orientation to the IT professions. It also serves the purpose as the ordinary orientation course that's also SDV 100. So you can take this course to satisfy the orientation requirement in any program, but this will give you a specific focus on the IT professions. We'll explore things like industry certifications, career paths, and one of those things that you will be required to do in that course is a very simple requirement, is to join that Canvas organization that I was mentioning a few moments ago. And then finally, the program concludes with what we refer to as a capstone course, which is the systems analysis and design course, which, as it says there, should be taken at the end of your degree program, or as close to the end of it as possible. It is only, at this point in time, only offered in the spring semester. So if you follow the normal sequence of fall, spring for 2 years, then that falls in line. But I realize many people are kind of off sequence or take courses part-time, and that's okay too. But just recognize that at the end of this program, this capstone course, which is designed to kind of bring together all those various knowledges, skills, concepts, all those other courses that you've taken, kind of bring them together in one cohesive unit. And the nature of that course will change from time to time in terms of the format specifically. Okay, I think we can move on to the next. If you're coming into the IT program, or quite honestly, perhaps the other programs as well, if you are coming without a prior computer background, and what I mean by that, if you haven't taken computer courses at the high school level, or you're just new to computing, because we at Lord Fairfax, we have lots of students with lots of different backgrounds. So if you are new to computing, there is a course that you should really consider taking, and we allow students to kind of advise themselves into or out of that course, and that is ITE 115, Introduction to Computer Applications and Concepts. And that is designed to, as is noted there, to bridge the gap between what you may or may not have gotten at the high school level, or maybe if you're a student, an adult student that is maybe transitioning in a career or what have you, and maybe it's been a while since you've taken computer courses and you want to update your skills. That would be a good reason to take this course as well. So this is a course we don't absolutely require students to have, because we work under the assumption that you probably already have it. But if you are coming to us without that prior background, then you should consider taking that course. Okay, I feel like I'm taking too much time here, so I will move along here. I want to make sure we allow time for our other professors. Under Career Study Certificates, you can supplement the IST degree with any number of the career study certificates you see on the screen. One new career study certificate that we're launching just this fall is the Cloud Computing Certificate. And you see other certificates as well listed there. So once you look at the details of the IST degree, there are actually 18 credits worth of electives, or specifically IT electives. So through one or more of these career study certificate programs, you can satisfy those 18 credits worth of electives by kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're accomplishing or satisfying the requirements for the degree, but you're also working towards a career study certificate. So this is what I was referring to earlier as far as getting multiple credentials and letting a potential employer know what area or areas you might have a specific focus in. So I think we go to the next slide, and we're almost done with my section here. So the last thing I want to mention here is that as I just said, you can get the IST Associate Degree and a Career Study Certificate. It is important that you do officially enroll in both the degree and the Career Study Certificate, so that you do get credit for those courses that you take. And when you graduate, you actually can graduate with just the degree, just a Career Study Certificate, or both, ideally, both a degree and a certificate. I think I'll let Dr. Kaufman take it over from here.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take over. The thing is that Art took my 5 minutes, so I can take a nap now. I don't have to worry about it. It comes out to be is that, DJ, you can probably do my program. I'll just sit back and listen to you. All right, next slide. You know, that's my title slide, my old picture, just like Art. Okay, my cybersecurity degree is really in the middle of the road, because as you saw on one of the first slides was that the applied IT degree or IST degree is based on you going into the workforce. Most applied degrees are that way, going into getting a job after 2 years. And Dr. Stain's degree is on the opposite side of the tracks. That hers is basically a transfer degree. So you want to go to a 4-year type institution, or get a bachelor's, whatever it is. My degree is kind of stuck in the middle. All right, it's between that, it's that bridge that's got one side and got the other. So it comes out to, and it's not the 115 bridge course, okay? But it comes out to be is that it's a dual purpose type degree. If you decide that after 2 years that you want to go out into the workforce, you can do that with this degree. You have some of the skills and reference to do that. You may not be a great expert at it, but you'll be but nobody's a great expert when they first get into a field anyway. They grow, they learn how things go. So you can do that. It's also a degree in reference to that I may want to transfer to a 4-year institution. And I have certain transfer pathways to the Bachelor of Applied Science in Cybersecurity at George Mason University, which is predominantly my target school that most of my students go to. Then there's another one, I won't go into degree names, takes too long. The George Washington University, which very few of my students go to, mainly because of tuition. It's a much higher type university. And then Old Dominion University has their interdisciplinary studies in cybersecurity bachelor's degree as well. So you have a choice in reference to that. So it's a transfer, and it's also a career-oriented type degree. It is I don't want to say accredited. They don't use the word here for NSA, National Security Agency. It's a designation by the National Security Agency and Homeland Security. It meets their I guess, rules, if you want to say, of outcomes, learning outcomes, and graduating the program or taking the program. The program itself opens up to some type of scholarships and grant opportunities. That is, like I said, is designated by NSA and Homeland Security. I'm also looking at other accreditations, but I won't go there until I'm further down the road. The courses are listed there. I like to kind of add to that. The overall courses there, you can listen, you can read. But we generally look at cybersecurity type policies, the technical side of it, the physical side of it, some of the hacking, forensics, computer forensics type, defense, intrusion detection, firewalls, that kind of things. More of the technical side, but you always have policies and some physical things you have to deal with. These are the actual core courses that are in the program. They're listed. The 221, as Professor Lee just mentioned, is you'll see is a PC hardware and operating system type course. That's the title. It is different than an A+ related 107, ITN 107 and ITN 106. Okay, it's not into really Microsoft, and it's not really into individual chips. It's getting into details of similar to I think it's, and Dr. Stain can mention this, I think it's similar to 205 course, computer organization course that she has, but it gets actually into the internals of a computer system. And I'm actually going to be massaging that to a little bit more of operating systems and things like that. But anyway, it does have a programming elective. The one thing I'll say about my degree is you do not have a choice of a lot of electives. Okay, it is rigid. It is rigid because the CAE, the transfers, et cetera, demands it. And my purpose in my programs is make sure that a student gets all the courses they possibly can upon transfer that will transfer without them losing credit. Okay, so it comes out to be is that programming elective is there. One is ITP 120, which is Java, and a lot of people like take that. But I recommend, and Dr. Stang teaches that, and she does a great job on it. ITP 270, it's not really Python, it's programming in cybersecurity. Right now, we look at Python, but we look at other languages as well. She reviews everything out there. Sorry, Melissa, I'm giving you a plug. She reviews everything out there and looks to see what is going on with cybersecurity program right now. All right, and therefore I get passionate about my program. Sorry, guys, but it comes out to be is that that's what you're going to be learning. Yes, Python is a major language right now, but there's other things out there. And she's maturing the student to learn the other things along with the Python. So that's a really, really good course. The other ones are listed there. The 170 is the Linux. I got a whole ball of wax. The math is not really all that complicated. To be honest with you, I wish it was a little more complicated because I like to go into cryptography, which really goes into calculus and stuff, but it's not. And you can find a number of other requirements that is actually on the cybersecurity site that's listed there. I'll be first to admit that I am in the process of updating it. It's a little dated in certain areas, but I am in the process of updating it over the summer months so that we'll be back up into a really good, accurate type in the next 2 months. But it gives you good information about the program as you go on there. The other thing I did not see, and it probably will be a core course here, and I don't know why I missed it before, unless it's on the next slide, and be honest with you, I don't know it's on the next slide, is ITN 298. It is a seminar and projects course that's been added. That is very similar to Professor Lee's capstone course that he mentioned. What was it 251? ITP 251? I couldn't remember. See, I'm getting old. But it comes out to be is that that will actually look at things you've learned in the program, but also look at some research, some publishing type things in reference to some cybersecurity competitions and the like. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a conglomerate of different things in the cybersecurity world. But all the information you can see is on that cybersecurity website. Is there anything else I want to say in reference to that? Oh, I could say a lot of things, but I guess I'll move on. Next slide. All right. I never seem to be standing still. We three, I guess that's the proper English terminology. We three that are here never stand still. We always watch to see as the stomach turns. The world turns. Okay. And so therefore we go with it. I have a new degree coming online, the Associate of Science in Science. It's cybersecurity engineering specialization. It looks more at the hardware side, security hardware side, the grid, the electrical grid systems, the water systems, the PLCs, the program logic type circuits stuff that will actually transfer to George Mason University in their Bachelor of Science in cybersecurity engineering, which they now have a master's, and now they're working on a PhD to go in that field as well. So this is starting in the fall. The problem with a lot of people, and I'm going to mention the problem, is that it's heavy in math. It is very heavy in math because we need to look at how chips and cryptography and everything else, it is heavy in math. Okay, but it has several electives in it, which are cybersecurity type electives. And my suggestion, if anybody's interested in this, should talk to me first before they do anything else. And I'm going to mention this, and they're going to hate me. You should talk to me first instead of an advisor, because this is new coming on board. All right. And therefore, I want to make sure that you got your electives lined up to what needs to be done. All right. But anyway, that's a new degree that's coming on for fall 2020. There is a description of it out there under the program icons. I don't remember, Kelly, what they are, but where you go to the tiles, the program tiles, there is one on cybersecurity engineering. And I think Dr. Stang is probably on the next slide, right? But the only thing I want to leave as a concept, if somebody out there can get the world to standardize on one word or two words for cybersecurity, I'd be much appreciative of that, because they can't seem to do that. All right. All right. Now I'm going to pass it to Melissa, Dr. Stang.
Kelly, you can go off of that slide. They don't need me. So just like Professor Lee has for IT, computer science also has a bridge course, and this is our Intro to Computing course. If you have limited experience with technology, you're not a computer science major, say you're coming in with an art focus or a business focus and you want to switch to computer science, this would be the course that would be recommended as your first course. It is equivalent to what AP computer principles in the high school would be. It gives you an idea of actually what computer science is. Oftentimes people come into the program thinking computer science is coding only, and they get a real culture shock when they come into the program. So this course would help you kind of get a better understanding. It also feeds into some of the career study certificates that Professor Lee talked to. So if you got into this course, you decided that computer science was not your goal, it could go into the IST degree. So you're not going to lose credits. Okay, go on to the next slide. And so the actual program itself for computer science, as you've heard, is a transfer. Kelly, you can go ahead and next slide. Is a transfer program. That means we are duplicating what the first 2 years at the four-year schools would be for you. That means a lot of general education. You're going to get your history, your math, your PE, all of that stuff out of the way at Lord Fairfax, so that when you transfer, you can totally be concentrated on computer science and all the fun technology courses. We do have 4 required computer science courses in the specialization. It is required that you complete successfully calculus with analytic geometry 1 and 2. You do have to get a C or a higher in that for it to transfer. We do have additional electives, and we will work with you based on the transfer school that you're going to. So if you go to UVA in their Bachelor of Arts in computer science, you're going to have to take a foreign language. So we'll count your foreign language into these CS electives. If you transfer to George Mason, this is going to be another math class, another computer science class for you. So it's very flexible. While it is based on transferability, we have had companies like IBM hire our graduates right into their apprenticeship programs. So it can be workforce based too. Oftentimes people come to Lord Fairfax for computer science and they only stay a year instead of getting the degree. So the next slide, you'll see we do have some specializations and career study certificates that you can complete in a year. So it's our 4 core classes plus 1 extra project course, the capstone that you've heard the other 2 gentlemen talk about. So that when you leave here in a year and transfer, you already have a credential in computer science, which allows you to work as a lab assistant at George Mason and a few other places. So think about that if you know you're only going to be here for a year. We also have an applied computer science certificate that also feeds into Professor Lee's IST program that gives you a very strong technology foundation that will help you in some of the advanced courses when you transfer.
Do you want me to take it from here, Dr. Stang? Okay. So basically just kind of overall remembering that you can be in multiple programs. That is, when we say programs, we might be talking about a degree, a career study certificate, but you can be in multiple programs and you must be officially enrolled in that through the Admissions and Records Office. Next slide there, Kelly. Just real quick, some of the courses, if you're thinking about taking courses this summer, there are various start dates because we have 10-week, 8-week, and even some 5-week sessions. So the 10-week sessions, I believe, starts May 26th, if I got that date right. And then the 8 weeks are in early June, and then 5 weeks later than that. So you see the list there. We can talk specifically about those if you have questions. In terms of my program, again, this is Professor Lee. If you're brand new to computing, ITE 115 is there. If you're already in the program or want to jump into the kind of the some of the meat of the program, ITE 120, and then SDV 101 is a course I would strongly recommend. It's a really good course to take during the summer, even if that's the only course you want to take in preparation for the fall. I don't know if Dr. Stang or Dr. Kaufman want to mention anything specifically about any of these summer courses right now.
I agree. I think SDV 101 for you computer science people is the best place to start if they're looking just for one course. Obviously, if you're looking for computer science, you're ready to jump in, CSC 200. I absolutely do not recommend 200 and 205 together. They're very different type courses, and a lot of students struggle when they take them together, so please don't do that.
I would recommend it. Well, SDV 101 has a security component now, doesn't it, Professor Lee?
Yes,
okay.
It does. Yes.
I don't know if you mentioned in your course, because I'm trying to remember, for job roles and things like that, because I know you talk about careers also in the IT professions, is a cyberseek.org type site, which actually has cybersecurity roles on it. So anybody's interested in that, they can go out there and they can look at all the cybersecurity roles out there, what they link, what certificates you need, or how the job market is and stuff out there. But that's cyberseek.org. The first course into the cybersecurity degree is ITM 100, which is Introduction to Telecommunications. It's fairly technical oriented, heavy reading in the book, but you have to have a basis of networking, subnetting, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into all the details before you can take 260, and then 260 is the one that is a requirement for 262 and 266. So it's 100, 260, 262, 266, plus a few others, but they're not listed there. I'm talking about summer only.
Right. So if we go to the next slide, Kelly, if you don't take, whether you take courses this summer or fall, either one, you could take some that would feed into the fall, or depending on where you are in the process. Obviously, what we have offered in the fall is far too many to list on the screen. But I'll say this, that most courses, due to the pandemic, we're offering either as hybrid or online. Many of our courses are going to 100% online this summer. Well, this summer definitely, and very possibly for this fall. Quite honestly, some of those decisions have not been made yet as far as the format, but we're trying to make these courses as accessible as possible, particularly given the circumstances that we're in. And just like in the summer, there are different start dates, there are different sessions. There are courses that are 14-week, there are 12-week, there are 7-week courses in the fall. So I'm assuming you may or may not be familiar with My LFCC, which is how you get to the registration process through the Lord Fairfax website. And I believe the last slide is simply a page for our contact information for myself, Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Stang, and also we'll mention that there are 2 other full-time IT faculty, Dr. Jose Nieves, who's actually based in the Fort Care campus, as well as Professor Daryl Andrews, who is at the Middletown campus as well. So you can contact any of us for for information, questions, what have you. You see our emails listed there. And I believe that is the end of our little PowerPoint there, and I'll turn it back over to Kelly.
It is. Thank you so much, Professor Lee and Dr. Stang and Dr. Kaufman, for sharing everything with us today, whether it's your expertise on the coursework itself, the careers that it could lead to, or even transfer opportunities. So now I'm going to turn over to DJ. He's going to share with you, as a current student, his perspective on what it's like to be a student in any of these programs. He's also going to tell you a little bit about how he got here. Everybody's got a different way of coming to LFCC, and hopefully this will be encouraging to you. So go ahead.
Be nice to me, DJ. Be nice to me.
I will, Dr. Kaufman, don't worry. So I just wanted to kind of build off of what Art was saying, starting off. There's lots of extracurricular components that are available through all these different degrees, and they hold weight. So the certificates, doing those outside of everything have really pushed me and taught me a lot when I was doing this degree. And I do agree that it's paramount to have a strong foundation. I use programming every day now, even though I'm in the cybersecurity program. I'm still they're all intermingled. But just a little bit about me. My name is DJ. I'm 26 years old. I'm at the 3rd quarter of my cybersecurity degree under Dr. Kaufman. And I took a 6-year hiatus before I decided to come back to school. I had started a catering company and just traveled around a little bit, but I realized that I had a passion, and I was just working for money. I did what was really easy for me. And eventually I realized that there was something that I was really passionate about that I wanted to make my life. And so in the summer of 2017, I decided to start taking classes at Lord Fairfax. And it was tough in the beginning, but Dr. Kaufman really helped me iron everything out and figure out exactly what it was that I wanted to do. When I came back, I signed up for pretty much every technology class that existed, and the things that I really enjoyed funneled into his degree. And on my 2nd year, I took Dr. Stang's class for the first time, and that is the way that she teaches in that class is very interesting, and you will learn. Like Dr. Kaufman said, it's focused around cybersecurity. It's not necessarily programming to a T. It's going to be the fundamental basics, and then you build off of that with the things that you learn. For example, she pushed me to try the research symposium, and there I gave a presentation on hacking access badges like you use to get into buildings or key fobs, and we did that using an Arduino microcontroller, and that was the project that we had in her class. So really, really relevant things, and there's just a huge step that they give you in this education that will propel you pretty far in life. About a year and a half in, I decided Dr. Kaufman had introduced capture the flag competitions to me, and I got very involved with those. And the difference between the CTFs and the degree is the degree lays the foundation and gives you the concepts, but the CTFs, oh, and I'm sorry, for those of you who don't know, capture the flag competitions are Jeopardy style objective hacking competitions, where you sit down with one specific objective in a category, and then you have to try to complete the challenge. So for example, they might say, what was this encryption? They'll give you an encrypted file, and then you have to reverse engineer it and figure out what the actual message that was sent. And so I had Dr. Kaufman to pitch that like 3 or 4 times, and I was a little overwhelmed with classes, but eventually things kind of started to line up, and I took him up on that. And since I did that, that has been one of the funnest things that I look forward to in the degree, because like it constantly lays a new foundation, and then you can just build on top of that. And then the CTS are what you use to gauge how far you are. You know, because in the degrees, sometimes it's difficult to see where you started and where you end up. But so a year ago, I went in for through Art Lee's submission. He has the internships and programs, and I was keeping current with those, and I submitted about 14 different internship requests, and I finally got a hit back from Navy Federal Credit Union. And so that was the career change. I was a chef since I was 16 years old, and I had done that for income my whole life pretty much, and I made the change. And it was because of these resources that these professors lay out for everybody, and that I was able to do that. Because searching on your own is very difficult. If I wouldn't have had that resource, it would have been hard. You know, so I really respect the professors and the time they put forth to doing those, because it is extremely beneficial. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, I work for Navy Federal Credit Union for desktop support services and critical infrastructure. So we make sure all of the services and the applications stay running in the building, as well as maintain most of the hardware aspects. So we set up buildings, and our day-to-day is never the same. We're kind of like the garbage can of all of the technology problems, and 75% of the issues come to us and they're resolved by us. So there's only one other tier escalation path past us, and it's been an amazing experience. And I have these wonderful professors to thank for that. So thank you.
Thank you, DJ. I really appreciate you being here tonight to share your perspective with all of us that are here. What's that, Henry?
Can I add one thing real quick?
Sure.
DJ, if I remember correctly, you made the silver level of the National Cybersecurity, the Challenge, competition league. It wasn't Cyber League. The competition that across the United States, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I forgot to mention our team. So we formed
you don't have to mention the team. I just was mentioning that you did get to the silver level with the team. You were the manager.
Yes, that's correct. I scored in the top 3% of the United States in the world out of 5,600 people, which comparatively to when I competed last year is a 75% increase from my placement. So it's amazing what you can do in a year if you really stick to the books and, you know, have that time to digest everything.
And DJ is also one of our charter inductees into the Epsilon Pi Tau Technology Honor Society at Lord Fairfax. So he's in that you have to have a certain GPA and complete so many credits in technology before you're inducted into that. So.
Nice. It sounds like there's a lot of amazing opportunities for students through these programs. I've even learned a lot today just listening to you all. And thank you again, DJ, for sharing that with us. Because again, just like you said, it shows us when you really apply yourself, put forth the effort, and do what you love, it really pays off. So for those of you that are here with us today, because maybe this is something that you do love, or maybe you're exploring to see if you would have a passion for it, we want to give you the opportunity to interact with our professors here with DJ and ask them questions. So again, you can ask them on chat if you'd like to, or you can unmute your mic and ask us through audio. If you are going to ask through chat, I'll just ask, I guess we'll just take a couple moments to allow you to type, but feel free to go ahead and take it away, everyone.
Hi, this is Jason Montgomery. My son's in high school, and he's interested in technology and has been doing things like Cyber Patriot program and some of the cybersecurity stuff. And so I was wondering what options you guys have, or what he might be able to maybe look at for dual enrollment for some of the math classes or things that might feed into some of these programs. Do you have any suggestions there?
Well, the math that we have is 154. Is that dual enrolled at the high school? Does anybody know?
Unfortunately, no. What he should probably do is talk to the career coach there at the high school. They have a list of the dual enrolled courses for each program.
We'll have to, yeah, we're homeschoolers, so we're kind of trying to.
So in that respect, if you talk with Dean Brenda Byard and her staff, they will work with you directly on that for your homeschool into the program.
Okay.
And I'm typing Brenda's email in the chat box. That way you'll have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But at the same time, you can your son and daughter can register at LFCC and take classes while you're still homeschooling them in the high school. They can take them directly at the college.
Yeah, we were looking at, just during your presentation, like the introductory to the programs and what cybersecurity and other IT fields are about would be really good for.
Yeah, the SDV 101 would be a great course. Because it does explore that whole all the different technologies to give them that idea of the career.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason, for your question. And we'll take other questions as well, again, whether it's chat or on audio. And again, I'll just wait a few moments for you to type if you are typing right now.
Hey, Art, when can we retire?
Henry.
Whenever you want to.
This is Jason again. Can I ask one more?
Ooh, absolutely. Ask away.
Can you give me just a little bit more detail on the cloud focus for your program? You mentioned the cloud computing.
Yes, I can talk a little bit about that. Actually, the cloud computing course, there are 2 courses that a student should start with. And then they may need actually a 3rd course prior to that. So the 2 courses that are officially listed in the Cloud Computing Career Studies Certificate are ITN, just to give you a couple of numbers, ITN 200 and ITN 257. 257 is really the first cloud-specific course, and it's a course that we're offering for the first time this fall. Actually, the lead instructor on that, in terms of the Middletown campus, is Professor Andrews, Daryl Andrews, and Dr. Jose Nieves at the Fort Care campus. So I'm not sure where you might be doing that, although both of those at this point are hybrid courses, but could be online by the time we get to the fall. But those two courses are really the first semester courses, if you will, for the cloud computing. If the person doesn't have any background at all in networking, then they really need to take ITN 100 before they take ITN 200. So I guess if the person doesn't have, because the cloud computing certificate could also be designed for a person who's already in the field, and they're kind of transitioning from, say web page design or database or whatever the case may be, and they're transitioning to the cloud computing area. So that person could step right into the cloud computing certificate. If a person is coming to it fairly new, inexperienced, then I would suggest ITN 100 to get them on that track to ITN 200 and then ITN 257. If you want to shoot me an email, I can certainly send you more details by email. That might be a little bit easier to see. Again, I'm Art Lee, alee@lfcc.edu is my email.
Yeah, I was just curious if it was, I mean, it starts probably general, but does it have a security focus at all, or is it more just general cloud computing kind of concepts?
It's kind of cloud computing concepts, to be perfectly honest with you. It's brand new to us. It's brand new to really the whole Virginia Community College system. There will be by necessity a security focus on it, because obviously cloud computing has security concerns. So even within the fundamental course, there is some security issues discussed, but not specifically to say the cybersecurity program that we currently have. But just by necessity, there's going to be a security component of cloud computing courses as well.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and next we have a question from the chat. This person says, my son will be a senior at Sharando next year. He's already taken several dual enrollment courses and has a LFCC student ID. He's interested in a career in cybersecurity, so should he take SDV 101 online this summer and have it count towards his degree program at LFCC after he graduates high school next year?
SDV 101 for cybersecurity is in the program. So it will count. He'll learn about some of the careers in the cybersecurity and some everything else besides cybersecurity, as well as generalities in information technology itself. So I'd probably say, yeah, he should start there. Because otherwise it'd be ITN 100, and he should have a little bit of knowledge of whether he really wants to go into that field and stuff like that, and careers and stuff like that. I would start at 101.
Thank you, Henry. I'll start again just monitoring the chat to see if any other questions come up, and otherwise, again, feel free to use audio and chat with us.
And if you're not sure, I know we've thrown a lot of information at you in these 3 different programs and keep saying they're intertwined. If you really don't know which of the 3, there is a career studies certificate, Technology Essentials, that is a great place to start, because it takes classes from all 3 of the degrees and gives you a little taste of each one before you go on to which discipline that you want. So keep that in mind too.
That is good advice, because I think a lot of us when we first start college think we have to have our minds made up, and it eventually does help to know what path we're heading down, but it's good to know that we can start somewhere and have many opportunities otherwise. Thanks, Melissa.
And also, I'll just interject, regardless of which degree, if you're in a degree program, we're talking about technology courses, but you're also going to need to take the college composition, English 111, English 112, those type of courses, perhaps, math courses, some social science courses. So that there are courses that you can take that would be introductory type courses if you're not sure what exactly focus in the technology world you might want to go in.
But if you're not really sure, I think the Technology Essentials, that CSC, is a really, really good CSC to start out on. The only thing I want somebody to know when you go in there, the purpose is to get you to have a feel of which focus direction you want to go. It'll give you that. Not necessarily every course in it will transfer to whatever degree you want to go to or pathway that you want to take. But at the beginning of it, that's not the most important. The most important is I want to go the right way I feel that I want to go. All right, and that's what the purpose of that is.
All right, thank you also, Henry, and everyone who's contributed. I'm gonna again just look a little bit on chat, but again, audio, otherwise we will wrap up our session.
And again, I know I've said this before, but I'll be glad to send anybody that emails me these specific, a lot of what we've said. If I were on the receiving end of these messages, I say I need to look at that a little bit closer, or I need some more details. So I do have some documents I can send you by email if you would like to have those about all these programs. So please don't hesitate to send me an email if you would like more information.
And I have to support Art on that, because it comes out to be is that once you look at websites, once you look at information on website, you're going to generate more questions in your mind, because something popped up and said, well, I kind of wish I had asked that question. So our emails are out there. It was on Art's, I'm sorry, Professor Lee's slide. Sorry, Art, Professor Lee's slide. And so any one of us, and Kelly can forward them to us if she gets anything. So any one of us is willing to help you out.
Yes, in fact, once this session is completed, we're going to again record it and post it online, the same website that you used to register. So you can view it there. And we're also going to send that to you in an email. So in that email, you'll have each of the professors' contact information. You'll have the links that we talked about that are going to be value information to you, and those PDFs. So everything will be there for you within about a week or so. We did get a couple more questions. I'm not as familiar with this, so hopefully the three of you can help me. This question says, are there any Cali specific courses? And it's spelled K-A-L-I. Again, I'm not as familiar with IT as you all, so help a girl out.
Yeah, you want to go ahead, DJ? Go ahead.
So we do the ethical hacking class is going to be mostly focused around Kali and Windows VM exploitation. You will use it throughout, starting in the second semester of the cybersecurity. You're going to see flavors of Kali in pretty much every class that you take. I don't think that we did much of it in the programming side of the house, but definitely in the cybersecurity. You're going to get it in the firewall class, the networking class a little bit, and you're going to see it in the ethical hacking class, and definitely in the security principles class probably.
I want to add to that in reference to, because I'm not sure if it's in your program, DJ, but in the seminar and projects class, when that course comes into play in the spring of 2021, part of that will be competitions, and you'll be using Kali as the tools and stuff in that to do the competition side of the house.
We did have another question come in as well. It says, let's see. Sorry, I just lost it. Okay, they're asking about offensive cybersecurity certifications, and Melissa did respond. She said industry certification training are done through LFCC Workforce Solutions, not within the college courses. So I thought now might be a good time to just real quick talk about what Workforce Solutions is, and then Henry, since it's a cyber-related question, allow you to expand upon that. Yes.
Okay, well, go ahead. I was going to say that the offensive certificate, it probably is on Workforce. I don't really know if they do it, but it is actually one of those very, very focused type certifications from the Kali organization. It's off of, you can split off of that.
So, and then just to kind of give you an idea of what Workforce Solutions is, the best way that I can describe it is that they're going to be giving you, instead of degrees or your study certificates, they're going to be giving you a credential. So that's something that an employer in the workforce is going to know, okay, this person has the skill set to complete this objective. So Henry, can you kind of expand on what a credential would mean in the IT field to an employer?
Well, if you have a credential, I don't know, I think any one of us, all three of us could probably do that. But it comes out to be, it shows an employer that you got specialized skills depending on the cert you got. For instance, if you got a Net Plus type certification, industry cert, it really gives the employer that the idea, or at least the feel anyway, or the confidence that you have some network fundamental skills, so they can not have to handhold you to know what a router is, or what a switch is, or a cable, and how to hook this into that, or something like that. The operating system one, which is A+ one on the operating system, is Microsoft. So it's basically knowing some of the Windows software. So it's a focus type thing. Okay, it's not, the degrees are usually more generalized to help prepare you for different pathways. A industry cert is more along the line, for most of them, is a certain subject focus that is specific. Art or Melissa, Dr. Stank or Professor Lee wants to add to that?
Yeah, I can give you kind of an example of workforce services versus the credit side of the house. Because someone asked about the cloud computing, which I said is new to us, but I do know that workforce services is going to be offering, or is offering, a specific specific credential in AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. So they're going to be providing something very, very specific to AWS. In our cloud computing courses, we are going to include AWS, but there's more than just AWS to the cloud computing world. There's Oracle, there's many different, there's Microsoft, Azure, and so forth. There's many different vendors that are in the cloud computing space. So from our perspective, our cloud computing certificate and also degree is going to give you much more of a comprehensive view of a specific, of that topic, as opposed to a very focused, very specific credential in a particular vendor specific area, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think Art just hit the nail on the head with what I was trying to say, is that many of them are vendor specific. In other words, they may have some fundamentals inside of it, but they wrap their view on it. So like for the Net Plus and the A Plus, it's basically 3 comms. CompTIA, 3 comms a switch, sorry. CompTIA type thing, and like AWS is on the cloud, that kind of thing. I'm not sure if there is one for computer science. Is there, Dr. Stein?
Yeah, there are several. And that's
Well, I know
what
the
I'm kind of
certs, but are they
saying.
vendor?
We are Pearson. Yeah, they are. There's light. There's several. And each class in computer science in the core will give you a foundation for it, but you're going to have to do some extra studying outside of the class before you take that certification test, which you can take at LFCC because we are a Pearson VUE testing center. So even if you or think you're ready to sit for one of those certifications, you can do that at LFCC too.
I appreciate you all contributing to that conversation, especially in regards to how it would fit into the IT field. And a credential is going to be helpful to you, gosh, in so many different fields. You know, whether you're a nurse and you want to start with a CNA or tack on another credential in the healthcare field, or you're in business and you want to do a HR credential, there's just so many different ways to use them. But again, just for those of you who are not as familiar with workforce solutions, so beneficial to take a degree and a certificate and some credentials, bring them all together and just make yourself even more employable in that workforce. And like DJ said too, getting involved, getting into those competitions, taking internships, is just going to push you forward. Okay, so I'm just real quick checking the chat again just to make sure we don't have any other questions. All right, and I do not see any at this time. So what we can do, since we're just about getting to time to wrap up, I just want to thank you all again for being here. Those of you that presented, you've given us such a wealth of information. I appreciate you, and I know that those in attendance do as well. For those of you that were able to attend, thank you for being here also. Again, we're going to send you all of this information more in an email coming up within about a week. And just one thing I want you all to remember, this is the 50th year that LFCC has been open. Your future has always been our focus, and that will not change. So whether it's contacting one of the professors about IT information, computer science information, or cybersecurity information, or contacting one of us to learn about enrolling at LFCC, we will always be here to help you. So with that being said, everybody have a great night and feel free to follow up. See ya.
Thank you all.
Well, bye-bye.